Phil, you also posted a thread about the last story, which I'm
Yeah, I
excited.
did. Oh yeah. So the last story is a lovely, lovely game. I want to talk about it because in some rare turn of events, it hasn't released in America, which makes me very happy. It is going to release in America though, I believe in August sometime. So this is kind of like a preview for you guys if you're in America of what us British people are loving already. Um, Not to gloat or anything, it's very rarely this way round. So, the last story is a game on the Wii. It may be the last great game on the Wii. Very likely, to be honest. And it's developed by Sakaguchi, who is a legend who developed the original Final Fantasy series and was with Square and Square Enix when they merged, right up until the point of releasing Final Fantasy X. And he's basically the main creative force behind those games. And he started his own company up after leaving, based in Hawaii, called Mistwalker. And they just make wonderfully story-driven games. And the last story is just this wonderful, sweeping, heartfelt, warm story that's full of such character. And unlike many RPGs, you can't even approach it as an RPG really, because he's changed so much about what that means. But unlike most RPGs, it's not like a save the entire world kind of deal. It's not that you're traveling around all these different places. You're actually wandering around a single city on a small island for the whole game. But what they've done is they've filled this city with just so much life. You stumble around the town and there's just so much going on. The characters wandering around are all doing things. As you walk past them, they've all got things to say. Just random shit that cats are doing as you walk past and you'll notice, and just you see people painting walls and whatever it may be. There's just so much going on and it's just like bustling with life. And it's just a vibe that I haven't really seen in a video game to date. It's just so unique. Rather than everything being walk up and press a button to talk to people, it just feels as if it's all happening around you. And you can really just get so involved in that. It's a short game as well, which is why I'd say not an RPG. It will take between 20 and 30 hours to finish, which for an RPG isn't that long. And it feels a lot shorter because you're only really in one main location. But it never feels like it drags, which is the cool thing. So another really cool point about it is it's entirely voiced by the British, which gives it such a cool charm. And on top of that, I would say one of the really, really cool things is a lot of the story is centered around a pub and getting drunk. So, and the characters are just so wonderful and they're so thought out and fleshed out. And I would say that, one of these characters has more actual about them than an entire cast of other RPGs have. And just the accents really bring it to life, to be honest. And you're going to get some Scottish, some Irish, you're going to get some traditional Yorkshire, you're going to get some Cockney, and it sounds so different from other games because it's so rarely done. There is a bit of a weird thing of every child in the game seems to be Yorkshire, and there's this kid that you're chasing around, and every time you catch up with him, he's like, by gum, you caught me!" It's amazing. Love it. It's so funny. So yeah, it's just this wonderful game, and the mechanics of it are so not RPG. I would say think more Gears of War. It's much more action driven. It's all real time, and you run around and you chase stuff. You don't hit buttons to hit people. It all happens automatically, so it's more about strategy. But it's just so fun, and the music as well is really, really cool. The art design and the music. I just love the whole game. I just wish you guys could play it. I know, Danielle, you've been watching trailers and you've been sort of gawping at bits of it.
Yeah, and actually, I believe it's just so beautiful. I would compare it to like Kingdom Hearts meets Zelda meets Final Fantasy. And what I loved about all those games and what I wanted more about those games is the details. And what I find interesting about what you're telling me is this sounds like right up my alley, because what I like to do is I will traverse the entire city or whatever I'm in. Like say I'm playing a Final Fantasy game or something, I will look for every little detail and just enjoy the graphics and the atmosphere of the game. And so if this is all set in a city where you get to really delve around every nook and cranny and look at the life of the city, I mean, that's so exciting to me. I can't wait to play it.
That's really what it is as well. I mean, it's those moments where you do something like you look up at the sky for whatever reason, you just see something that just looks amazing. You can't help but just sit there and look at it for a few seconds, whether it's just a flock of birds going past or the clouds have changed and it looks really atmospheric and cool. And there's just these details all over every nook and cranny. And like you do little things like you go around like looking for someone's lost cat and things like that, where you have to explore the city to find things. And it's just so... It's like, it's kind of cute and it's kind of warm and it's got all those things that an RPG has. It does have the sweeping story, it does have battles, and it does have, you know, the good guy, bad guy, and a bit of, as with Japanese usually, a lot of grey area with those roles. It's just such a wonderful story, told so well, encapsulated so well, and I just think the overall art and design of it just is so perfect, and I can't wait to see what these guys are going to do next as a result of that. I just hope it gets the love it deserves when it releases in America, and they don't shun it.
It has been over a year since I bought a Wii game, but you going on about this game for the last couple of weeks, this will be one that I definitely go buy.
Yeah, you see. Now the cool thing was the version I got was this like limited edition bundle, which was so cool. Came in like a big box. The artwork was all special. What I'll do is I'll post a picture up on the forum of all this stuff so you can see it. But it comes with this like a regular case that the game would be in, but it also comes in with this wonderful like steel tin case. It's all embossed with this great artwork on it. It looks amazing. And then you also get an art book and a soundtrack CD with it as well. And it's just such an amazing package. It looks so cool. And I'm just really geeking out over this whole thing because I love the design of it so much. And again, the soundtrack is Uematsu, who did the music for Final Fantasy and a bunch of other great games. He's probably, in my opinion, the best video game composer. And in this instance, he's been challenged to do stuff differently. And the story goes that he composed a whole bunch of stuff, sent it over. And for the first time in 25 years of working together, Sakaguchi told him no, do it differently. So they didn't talk for like a month or something. And then he just sent this email across to Sakaguchi with some music files on that he'd done. And it was like a note attached to it saying something along the lines of, right, okay, listen to these. If these aren't good enough, I'm quitting games. I'm not doing it anymore. And obviously that sort of real pause and moment of like, oh shit, well, I'm going to listen to these. They better be right because I don't want him to quit. And as it turns out, it's some of the best stuff he's written. It's kind of odd because in places it really goes to sounding something like a Hans Zimmer soundtrack or score. It's really bizarre, and he just goes to these places, but he does them so well, and they still maintain his own style, which is the cool thing about it.
Yeah, and the preview that I watched, it had the one lady singing.
Oh yeah. And
it was kind of this haunting, eerie tune. It was really intriguing. Like it made me want to listen to it more, you know?
And when you hear that same theme orchestrated, oh my God. It's so beautiful. Really is. So yeah, that's the last story. I think it's an amazing game. I really hope that people who have got access to buy it in the UK and Europe are buying it in droves, in spite of all the retailer issues we've got. And I really hope that it comes out in America and people love it, and that means that Mistwalker can do whatever they want with the next game, whether it's another sequel to that or... I just trust these guys so much because what they deliver is something that nobody else does in the way that they tell the stories.
Well, if not, we'll just get them on Kickstarter and we'll start plugging them for...
So moral of the story is, last story, go buy it.
Go buy it. And get the collector's edition, apparently, because...
It kicks ass.
Pretty,
yeah.
Pretty, maybe.